to the next agenda item, which is future agenda items.
So I have written down two that I've heard tonight. One is the start time task force composition structure. And then the second is the action item on potential 2015 start time change options.
So I had a question based on the first lady that came up, that possibly is a future agenda item, or just maybe this is a clarification with Ryan again. Put on the hot seat tonight. She had mentioned that there were Hispanic families that were getting moved down to North Shore Junior High and Woodmore. And my question, and maybe it's something, again, that's a discussion item, is are we having concentrated areas of Hispanic families? Because isn't Woodmore and North Shore don't they have our largest Hispanic population already? And if we're moving more families down there, then I'm concerned about the imbalance, the ethnic.
So they have significant Hispanic populations, but not the largest Hispanic population in the district. That would be Kenmore Elementary.
Okay, but they're in the top couple, maybe?
They would be in the probably the Woodmore would be probably in the top 3 in the district, I would imagine. So the enrollment demographics task force is subcommittee to this point. We're very neutral on the demographics of the particular pockets. So they were it really has been a space and capacity exercise for this first draft. So we have overlaid, or in the process of overlaying and refining, the demographic impacts of these changes. And so that information will feed back into the enrollment demographics task force as part of their review of the feedback we've received through the open houses and the work they'll do in March to determine whether or not there are any changes that should be made in the draft plan before it comes to the board in April. So they'll be looking at that.
Okay.
So when is that meeting in March?
It's the 12th.
Yeah, next meeting is Thursday, March 12th.
So you've done a great job, and I'm not at all questioning. That just was a really good point that she brought up, and so I would be concerned if we hadn't thought of that and then we've moved many Hispanic families out of one school and we highly concentrate that and make another school more highly concentrated. So that's all I'll say about that, but that brought up a concern to me.
And I would say that, as I mentioned in my opening report tonight, we recognize that there are several particular hotspots associated with the draft boundary plan. We certainly recognize that particular pocket as one of the hotspots that the ETEF will be looking at. Again, as I've been telling everybody, including folks at the Kenmore City Council meeting last night, we really truly do want the feedback so that we can be informed and try and make the best decisions we can. Any changes we make have to fit into the overall plan that meets the systems needs of the district. But the process is doing exactly what we wanted it to do, which is to give people the opportunity to put a different set of eyes, a different set of filters on the work so that they can help inform us to make the best decisions possible.
Are there any state laws or policies that preempt us from moving one ethnic group to where there's already a large ethnic group?
There would be, yes, there would be. You can't draw boundaries that create what's called racial imbalance. And you may recall that the board is actually...
Not that we did that intentionally, or that we're doing that.
No, we're not. And the board is actually, you've approved a resolution certifying that related to the construction of North Creek High School, that we're not creating racial imbalance in the district. So the thresholds and the margins with which we're working, given the number of students moving around the district, do not put us in jeopardy of violating any of those laws or provisions.
And I just happened to be at the Woodmore PTA meeting where it was first discussed about this group, and they are already in conversation about how to welcome this community, and so it was a delight to hear this Maywood Hills community. I mean, what is wonderful news is that wherever they end up, they are going to be warmly embraced and invited in, and either school is going to be ready to go to have those kiddos.
My concern is with the Hispanic.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
And
Yeah, they've already got plans and ready to invite them in, and So it's good news that they're going to be in a happy, healthy environment wherever they end up.
And I don't believe that when the EDTF task force did their work, they looked at the demographics, but they're looking at it now.
I don't think they had it.
Yeah, no, I
They-
think
they
they're
were-
just
they were
moving
really-
numbers,
they were
just
really
purely
doing a
numbers
space
basis.
capacity exercise. And we now, with the draft plan, can do the work of now overlaying the demographic comparisons side by side between current service areas and what proposed service areas would be. And we're doing that, and that'll be part of the review process. That's sort of the second step that the EDTF will incorporate in their review. That'll happen in March after the open houses.
After the open houses. I was just concerned about Woodmore's already welcoming people with open arms, and what I was hearing our superintendent say was that we aren't even at that level.
No, but they're,
Right?
the schools are in discussion about how to welcome people, I think was the point. Yeah.
It wasn't a concern of whether they'd be welcome, it was concern of racial imbalance.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
that wasn't
my
what she was
concern.
expressing.
And I'm just expressing that this is a happy, positive thing. That's a good thing to do.
Okay, moving on to board member reports.
Oh, I actually,
So did, oh, I'm sorry,
had a,
did I?
it's not an agenda item at this point, I'm just information gathering, but it's been in the news. Are we starting to have conversations around creating a gender-neutral graduation gown?
We're gonna make the
We've-
boys
we've
wear
been
high
having,
heels.
No, that's not what I meant.
We've been having conversations around different topics around gender identity. We have not talked specifically about graduation gowns or gender neutral gown. Off the top of my head, what I'm thinking is that a student would select the color of gown that they most associate with their gender identity.
Right, the concern is that that student may not have notified people in their community that this was something they were going through. And that was the concerns that are being raised in other schools that are moving towards one color for all students, is that they may not be
Oh, I
comfortable
see.
in announcing that at their graduation ceremony to.
We have not had those conversations,
Okay.
to my knowledge.
Might, could we? I mean, it's not all of our high schools, there's only one, I think, that,
It's in all of our schools.
is it that they dressed in a different
for
color?
gowns.
Yeah, for gowns.
Just gowns. There's only one school that does it.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to know that you're staring off with a
Well, I'm trying
puzzle.
to-
What was that?
processing.
I'm just trying to think back to
exams.
graduations
Yeah.
and remember which school it is that has two
Green and
colors. Because
white.
I think it's green and white.
Green and
Yeah, I said
white.
Woodville.
So I sent a list of trainers to you. Did you receive that in email?
I did, and I've got a couple feelers out on some of the folks on that list. Thank you for sending it to me. I also have been talking with some folks here. There's a new diversity director at the University of Bothell, University of Washington, Bothell, who's very interested in partnering on diversity training activities. There's the resources available through the Puget Sound ESD. So yeah, thank you for sending me that list.
If we're going to assemble a committee, Mary Wilbur was interested in, actually she offered to serve the district in any way that Wilbur with the,
Is she on the list, Donna? Was she on
She
the
is.
list?
yeah, I think her contact, if her contact information is not on the list, then, and I think I made note that she was interested in assisting the district. I can't remember, it's such a long title that
Who is she with?
NEAP, Native American, it's who we contract with along with like Washington and I'm sorry I'm not remembering it. It's been a long night.
That's fine, if she's on the list, I think everybody on the list had
I
at
believe
least,
she is.
had at least an email contact. But,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
So Sandy,
Yes,
I
I'm
heard that they're just gonna be talking about it, is that
I'm
correct?
making a
Okay.
note to give Heather a
Got it.
Okay. Are we ready to move on to board reports? Okay. Let's start with Sandy.
Okay, so the top 3 highlights, attended the EDTF presentation at Bothell High, so I'm really appreciating the opportunity to hear the conversations and concerns, hotspots as it was called, where those are. It was not a huge number of people, which I think is a good thing. So appreciating that and the format we're using. And then just kind of 2 sort of charming things that are happening at our junior highs. One, the librarians from North Shore Junior High and Leota annually meet up at Barnes & Noble, and they take about a half a dozen students with them, and then they're given the budget for replenishing the library. And then the kids run around Barnes & Noble and select the books for the library. So it's just a great opportunity for them to take ownership of the books, and then the librarians do go back and go through and check for appropriateness. But it was just a really, and then Barnes & Noble is there and involved in good partnership in our community. So that was just a delightful moment to watch. And then, let's see if I can pull this up so that I get the information correct, because I think the board will find this interesting. I received an email about an event going on at Timbercrest in their FSA program. And they are doing a get rid of the R word event. And so they are really pushing to eliminate from the conversation, or that R word being used by students. And so they've got T-shirts that they are retarded. And it's a delightful T-shirt that has all sorts of other wonderful words on it, and it says, and then at the bottom it says, and chose retarded. You couldn't think of something else, and it's quite fun. So I was sharing that. I was going to contact them and see if I could get a T-shirt, and then pass this on, see if anybody else was interested in taking part in this. This. That's it.
All right, John.
I've been out of town. We'll be going to Day on the Hill and legislative committee meetings this weekend.
And are you attending the larger district caucus as well?
Yes.
Okay, cool, thanks.
And
I believe I also said that I was going to come in and attend the meeting at Wooden, but I did not see my name on that list.
Meeting at one.
Woodmore.
Woodmore? Is it? No,
Oh,
it was at
Hispanic
Woodmore. Or was it
The
Woodmore?
EDTF
Is it
Hispanic
Woodmore?
one? It's at Woodmore, yes.
Okay, yep.
Okay, cool. Cindy?
And I mentioned last time that I was going to that also. And, yeah, that's why I said that. I'm going to pass on my board report for the sake of, this has been a very long meeting, but there was one thing on this board briefing, date-wise, I wanted to ask about. There's Susan Del Bene visit, is that the whole board's going to that, or how is that working?
I arranged it, and the invitation is certainly there for anyone. You just need to let Cindy know so she knows
Okay.
whether.
I hadn't seen that, so I wasn't sure what that was like. We're going on a school visit, and that's part of.
No,
GC.
the students that made the nameplates for us, one of them has also made one for Suzanne Delbene, and she's going to come and visit the class, and
Okay. So that's an option, we can let Cindy know at that time.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah.
let her know as soon
I'm
as
sorry.
possible.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And that, it's like about an hour or
I think she said a half an hour that she's gonna be.
She's got a specific time window, and I want to say it was about
Half an hour to
45
45
minutes or
minutes, I
something.
think, yeah.
Okay.
It's,
She wasn't gonna be there the whole
That's good to know, I
time.
just didn't know what that was. Okay, thank you.
Amy?
So with Larry, I was at the North Shore School Foundation meeting on the 12th, and that evening at the Bothell Open House for the Boundary as well. And then last night at the EDTF meeting, which it was great to see folks looking at the stacks of comments and talking about the process of incorporating that information and next steps. That was very, very great. And I might as well put in some schedule notes. I'm on the list for being at Skyview tomorrow night, which I'm not going to be able to make. So just to let you know.
Who's going to schedule?
I am.
So I'm, it's at 7? 6?
6 to 8.
So I think I'd like to go to Skyview then, because that's in my neighborhood. I probably actually should be at that one.
Yeah, it's really informative, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great to see how they're working.
I'll be leaving from work, so I might not be there right at 6.
And it doesn't matter, it's a drop-in event, so people just come in and are talking to EDTF members and looking at this.
We're kind of like
And back
flies
to
on
rep-
the wall anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Back to Representative Delbeni on the 9th, I pulled up the email. She'll be there at 12:30 and we'll stay for 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, Amy?
That's it.
I attended the Career and College Readiness Fair, as is my custom at Bothell High School, and spoke with some very enthusiastic students who think their programs are each individually the best. And it's just so fun to see students. If you get a chance to do that next year when they are there again, it just highlights the different STEM programs that we have in the district. And parents and students have an opportunity to come in and take a look at it and see what's offered. Really cool. Pretty cool things being done with the automotive too. And then same thing, the EDTF at Bothell High School. On the 13th, I spent the morning at Cascadia College for the Dia de Avanzando Latinos, along with about 220 students from across Washington. And it was just an outreach event from Cascadia and UW Bothell jointly to just encourage higher education for Latinos. It was really cool. And then last Friday, I attended a Girls in Engineering event at Cascadia that was about 20 students from Juanita High School, and I would love, Carolyn, I would love to get our high school students have that opportunity as well. You may be seeing something in the near future from Cascadia. But it was just, my niece happened to come because she's a mechanical engineer, and I connected them, but she just gave an overview of what to expect in school, and then the girls did a engineering task and kind of a competition, and then they had a tour of the campus. It was a lovely, lovely event, but really I think made engineering come alive for some of the students there, so that was pretty exciting, really diverse group. And then last night, as Larry mentioned, we attended this Kenmore City Council meeting at their request. It was really a very respectful exchange, and they understandably had a lot of questions. There are a lot of students moving out of proposed to move out of Inglemoor High School into Bothell, and Kenmore identifies very strongly with Inglemoor High School being Kenmore High School. If they have their preference, I think that's what it would be called. And so there's understandably some concern in the community, but lots of good questions. And they will all be giving their feedback to the Enrollment Demographics Task Force as well. So, and that's it for me. And the only note I had was the Representative Delbeni meeting. So if you are planning to attend, and you could let Cindy know as soon as possible, that would be great.
What day of the week is that?
I think it's a Monday. Is it the
Oh,
9th?
Thursday. It's a Thursday. It's the 12th.
Is it a Thursday? I don't know. I have it on my calendar.
No, you're right.
The 9th is a Monday.
It's a 9th, yeah, Monday.
We'll put my name down for that, and then if I, for some reason, need to cancel it.
It's a great opportunity to
Mondays are usually.
highlight that
Yeah.
class. So anyway, I don't see anything further, so we will adjourn until next meeting. Thank you for your participation.
You can keep it. I don't worry.